Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Bill Donnell.
Well, welcome everybody. Good morning. So, Powered by Insight, that's our theme for 2019. And I think that you're really going to enjoy the next day and a half. We're going to cover, as we always do, the business side. But we're also going to cover a side that doesn't get as much attention and probably should. And that's the side that is connected to the purpose of everyone in this room, the human side. You know, every year there are over 2 million workplace injuries. And behind every one of those numbers is a firefighter, a construction worker, a parking lot attendant, a mom, a dad, a sister, or a brother. You're going to hear from 4 such individuals later on in my presentation, and they're going to describe for you how our system delivered for them. Now, the Annual Issues Symposium brings together the best in the industry, and we share insights with each other. One of the roles, I believe, of NCCI is to help you connect the dots in this complexity that we work in every day. Last year, we took a fresh look at how we serve our stakeholders, and we took our activities and we put them into natural clusters. Things like actuarial expertise and research, data stewardship, carrier relationships, regulatory relationships. And we began this path, a multi-year plan to up our game in terms of the value that we provide you. Now, what you don't see in this chart behind me is actually our biggest asset, and that's our people. And I am so proud of my fellow colleagues at NCCI because they work hard every day trying to find new and innovative ways to bring value to you. And you are at the center of this chart and what we do every day. So I'd like to share 3 examples of how we've delivered for you since the last time we were together in Orlando. And the first is about modernizing our content and making it easier to access. So imagine the efforts involved with trying to digitize rules, forms, and manuals for an industry that's over 100 years old. Recently, I cleared manuals while cleaning up my office, and it reminded me of the old Encyclopedia Britannica. And the changes that we're making are like going from that stack of paper that you see there to Google. It's pretty big and it's exciting, and I'll share one early win with you. We launched last September a new class code lookup tool. And since that time, we've had over 1.2 million hits. One customer described this tool as beautiful. Now, I don't know about you, but I haven't heard an insurance tool be described as beautiful ever in my career. Another customer told us that it took the review time from over 3 hours to 3 minutes. Now that is beautiful. Another success is in the area of research. Last year, we tripled the number of published research papers. We focused on timely, relevant topics, and we wrote them in non-technical language. Things like motor vehicle accident trends, Monday morning claims, and then just last month, we provided an important update on this hugely complex issue of marijuana. And we also delivered it in the way that you want to consume it. We put out short videos, executive summaries, while retaining the longer research papers in terms of the detail. You're able to consume it the way you want to consume it. We made it easy, and you told us that it was a winner. So my last example is about analytics. Now, analytics, I find, is a different meaning relative to who you ask. I'm going to talk about how we delivered analytics for you. First, we built more capabilities so that our analysis is even more powerful. In our benchmarking tool, our data is now fresher than ever. And lastly, we provided flexibility about how you can access the data. You can link your system with ours, and it's a big part of our web services strategy. But I'm also proud about how we developed these. We involved you in the process, and your feedback was priceless. So I want to thank you for that because you made these tools better. And we're not done yet. We have more capabilities that we're rolling out in 2019, and we're already looking ahead to 2020 and beyond. And speaking of feedback, so every year we do a survey of our regulator and carrier stakeholders. And we hear things about how we're doing, our report card, if you will. We also hear about what we can do better. And the third thing is that we find out what's top of mind for you. So what concerns you? What keeps you up at night? So I wanted to share the top 3 concerns with you. First is market dynamics, the realities today, but what does the future look like? The second is the changing workforce and how that changing workforce might impact loss frequency. And last, the legislative regulatory landscape and the impact that it may have on the stability of our system. So let's start with market dynamics. We are in uncharted territory. Uncharted territory. So in a little bit, Kathy is going to do a deep dive as part of her State of the Line address. But I'll give you an early headline, is that the results are unprecedented. You see, we used to have to look back to the days of Harry Truman's presidency to find a comparable period to compare. And now we can't even do that because we've never seen this before. But that's not what's top of mind for you. You see, what's top of mind for you is what does the future look like? Are we in for a big swing in the other direction? Now, I can't predict the future. But I guarantee you, if I could, my team of lawyers would take me off the tracks, okay? I'd like you to remember this point, though. There are 2 contributing factors that are within our control that may mitigate future challenges. So I'd like to offer 2 perspectives, and both of them tie back to this theme of insights. The first observation is about the moderating peaks and valleys in the workers' compensation marketplace. Today, we have shorter feedback loops and faster access to market data than we've ever had before. So recently, AM Best stated this, that the leveraging of technology has begun to reduce big market swings that we're used to seeing in the past. So how could this happen? It happens because of faster data and improved analytics. The peaks and valleys are going to remain because we work in a cyclical industry and it will continue. But the potential exists to moderate these cycles because you have access to better and faster information than you ever have had before. So the other factor is the effectiveness of core functions like underwriting, reserving, and claims. In my nearly 40 years in this industry, regardless of the line of business, I've learned that these make all the difference. And the story in this chart is typical because we see this type of result in nearly every NCCI state. So why the difference? Are there different market profiles, different risk appetites? Is it luck? Recently, I was speaking with an insurance executive, and they had talked about the transformation of their portfolio. And he talked about things like underwriting process, data-driven claims handling, smarter reserving, and then a feedback loop that brought it all together. So my takeaway is that winners use timely, relevant insights, and our role at NCCI is to deliver insights to you to make you better at what you do. The second top-of-mind issue. This is the changing demographics and the potential impact on loss frequency. It's a multifaceted issue, but I'm going to focus today on demographic changes. Recently, we published a research paper. You may have seen it. We looked at age, gender, and job type. And here's what we found. First, we have an older workforce. The number of workers aged 55 and above has more than doubled, and that trend line continues. On the gender side, men and women, it's remained stable over a long period of time. And then on the service side, service jobs continue to grow, unlike manufacturing and contracting. Now, we also looked at loss frequency, and this is not a new story, but it's a story worth repeating, and that is that loss frequency has declined nearly every year for 20 years. And it's declined by over 1/3 in the last 10 years alone. So the strategic questions became this. Do the changing workforce demographics explain the loss frequency? And the short answer is no. You see, the data that we looked at showed that frequency dropped everywhere. It dropped for young workers, it dropped for older workers, it dropped for men and women, and manufacturing, contracting, and service. So the drop in loss frequency cannot be explained by the demographic changes. And to me, that's an amazing insight. And my takeaway from that is you can never underestimate the power of data-driven insights to challenge our assumptions. Which brings me to the last top of mind issue, and that's the regulatory impact. So regulatory has always been a big impact on workers' compensation, and this year is no different. The survey gave us feedback on familiar topics like marijuana, opioids, exclusive remedy, and opt-out. But it also provided some new issues like insurance innovation, Medicare for all. The overarching theme, though, is this desire for stability and the concern about something that could undermine the health of our system. So how do we achieve and maintain stability in the face of these challenges? That's a tall order. But I believe it comes down to trust and transparency. And NCCI's role is to share information, to provide transparency, and to support open dialogue so that together we can reduce uncertainty. And I don't underestimate the difficulty in doing this, but it's imperative that we do it to maintain the health of the system and for the workers. So in 2019, we have a system that's generally healthy. We have a system that's performing very well. But we face issues and challenges. We need to remain strong. We need to fulfill our purpose. We need to meet our commitments. We must act. And that's our call to action, which is the word for 2019. It is delivering. NCCI is working hard to deliver on our commitments to you to provide insights, to ensure stability, but most importantly, to help you in delivering on your 100-year promise to injured workers and their families when they need it most. Take a look.
My name is Tom Young.
My name is Dana. I live in San Diego, California.
My name is Laura Okanowski.
My name is Travis Wall.
So I fell and I rolled probably 15 feet, and I didn't fracture my neck until I hit a rock with the top of my head.
When the pipe fell on me, doctors believe it hit me on the head. One of my legs was folded under me, and I realized I couldn't move my leg.
One fella came out right to the scene immediately, and because I had fallen to the ground, I was flat on my back for the rest of the time that they were checking all my vitals. So blue sky above, clearest blue day, but all this craziness and mayhem going on around me.
And he was doing about 35 to 40 miles per hour, and he did not see me, and he struck me full force.
You know, I was shaking, I was crying, I was cold, I was really, really cold.
I had a brain injury. It was fearful.
But I asked one doctor if I was like, will I ever walk in? He's like, probably not. And I think that's when it set in.
And I spent 28 days in intensive care. I relied on a ventilator to help me breathe because I was unable to breathe on my own.
My son is very inquisitive. My wife did a great job of being able to mask what had happened. He was 4.5 at the time. She didn't want to traumatize him. She eventually told him what happened to me, and I don't think it really hit him until maybe he finally like saw me.
My first thought was when I was laying in the emergency room was, is Linda gonna make it here on time before I die?
I'd never been in an accident like this before, never had any situations with work, so workers' compensation was completely foreign and new to me.
Workers' compensation has really helped get me to where I am today. It's a huge relief for me and my family.
It gave me the freedom to figure out what's going on in my life and process it without worrying about all the exterior things that were changing.
But let the process work. Let them do their due diligence and get you the best help you need.
I was very depressed. I didn't know what my life held for me, the future held for me. And one day Linda came to me and she said, "You're 29 years old. You got a lot more to offer." And it was at that point in time when I realized that I would try to go back to work and see how it would work out.
They were like, how are you so positive? Like, why are you always you're always smiling? Just keep moving forward.
It took a lot of the burden off my family, it took the burden off my husband.
I'm a proud man. I take pride in being a good husband, a good father, and a good provider. And so I felt like I was able to get back and work and provide, feel good about myself.
My whole outlook on life changed. And I think that's what going back to work did for me. It gave me a sense of purpose.
So that's why we do what we do. Thank you for what you do. I'm glad you're all here. Have a great conference.